We often hear from developers that PlayStation 5 is easier to develop games for than Xbox Series consoles, but why is it really the case? Let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I will try to answer the big question: why is it that PlayStation 5 is easier to make games for? And there's actually a couple of reasons. It has to do with tools, specs and next-gen features. We all know specs of both consoles. Xbox Series X is more powerful on the paper, but when it comes to actual games, there's a lot of titles that actually run better on PlayStation 5, even though Xbox Series X offers higher resolution in most of the games. But with specs advantage, you would think Xbox Series X would win on all fronts. Well, maybe except loading times. I mean, I'm sure it would if developers used all its features and optimized properly for its GPU, but that's not really the case. So why developers are not really optimizing properly for Xbox Series X? Some actually do, and that's when we get games that run and look better on Xbox Series X. And there's been many games like that even this year. But there's still a lot of games that run better on PlayStation 5 and sometimes offer better graphics. So here's why. A lot of it has to do with the same amount of compute units as in PlayStation 4 Pro, higher clock speeds and the compression block. So let's talk about compute units. PlayStation 5 has the same number of compute units as PlayStation 4 Pro, 36, which makes last generation game engines to take a full advantage of compute units on PlayStation 5, all 36 of them, because that's the same number of compute units they have been optimized for PlayStation 4 Pro. Xbox Series X comes with more compute units, and that's where developers have to do extra work because they have to extra optimize for these extra compute units. Then we've got PlayStation 5's GPU's higher clock speeds, which don't require any optimization because the whole GPU just works faster, right? So when you've got a game engine that has been optimized for 36 compute units and then you get all the extra performance from the higher clock speeds, that's just free performance. No optimization required, it just works. Xbox Series X offers quite high clock speeds as well, but not as high as PlayStation 5. Microsoft made a bet on extra compute units rather than higher clock speeds. You never know, that may pay off in the long run, but right now PlayStation 5 takes advantage of the extra performance thanks to higher clock speeds without any extra optimization. And that's not the case with Xbox, at least not to the same degree. Another thing that makes PlayStation 5 more development friendly is the fact that some of the next-gen components are working out of the box with no developer input required, like their SSD storage system and the compression block. It's more automatic than it's on Xbox. When a system is more automatic, that means less work for developers. That's why they praise PlayStation 5 for being very development friendly. They don't really have to worry about some things, like that decompression block. Both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X comes with decompression block. It's a texture decompression block. When you've got a game with a lot of textures, all these textures are being stored on SSD but they are compressed. In order for GPU to use it, system has to decompress these textures. On old consoles and PC right now, CPU is being used to decompress these textures, and that's obviously not as fast, and also that takes away some of the performance from the CPU, right? So CPU is busy with decompressing textures instead of calculating physics or AI. And that's where the decompression block comes in handy on both next-gen consoles. It takes away all the decompression from the CPU, and then CPU can use all that extra power that is being left with finally to do some CPU work, like calculating AI or physics or generating more frames. On PS5, the compression block works automatically. Developers don't have to use it, don't have to optimize it, it just works. On Xbox, well, that's a different story because developers have to use the proper API, it's called direct storage, and then on top of that they have to use all the direct storage features like using the compression block. The problem with direct storage overall on both Xbox and PC is that nobody really uses it, or not many developers use it, because it takes extra time to optimize. But hopefully next year we will start seeing more and more games and game engines, like Unreal Engine 5 for example, using direct storage API, and that has been officially confirmed. So this is the short story of why PlayStation 5 is being praised by developers so much, and why some games actually really do run better on PlayStation 5 than on Xbox Series X. Of course, at some point in the future, developers will start optimizing more for more compute units, and they will start using all these next-gen features. It just makes sense because it's extra performance, but it just takes time. And developers are working on a tight schedules anyway, that's why they don't really have much time to do it. And another thing is hardware adoption rate. There has to be enough GPUs on PC market and enough next-gen consoles for developers to sit down and say, yes, now we will support this feature because there's enough of these next-gen GPUs and we won't be supporting these old-ass GPUs anymore or old-ass consoles anymore. But like I said, it all takes time. But hopefully next year, with the rise of more and more games based on Unreal Engine 5 and other next-gen engines, we should see more and more games taking advantage of these extra features, which should translate to better looking and better running games. So guys, that's the video. Thanks a lot for tuning in, thanks for support, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share the video on social media because that really helps the channel a lot, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care!